It's Soty season, baby. And every single year, everyone at the shop puts down a $100 bet on who they think wins. Last year, I had Tyshawn, and bam, I raked it in. Let's try to clown on these fools and go 2 for 2. And we think you should do your own Soty bets and use your credit card. Max that baby out because we're gonna give you the inner scoop on who's gonna win. You're gonna do it. What's up guys, I'm Levi, this is Shred Shop connecting you to skateboarding, and today we're doing the Soty 2023 weigh-in. In 2022, it was very clear by the end of the year that there was 2 front runners for Soty. We had Nija and Tyshawn. Do you think it turned out how it should have? Let us know below. Now in 2023, you look at the race and it's way more spread out. There's a lot more people that could pull ahead in these last few weeks. And at this point, there's not an obvious front runner. We took a look back over the entire year and we made a list of the top about 17 skaters that we think will for sure be considered for Soty 2023. Now if you stick around to the end of the list, we've narrowed it down to our top 3 contenders. Before we start the list, here's the thing. Remember, it's Thrasher Skater of the Year. It's not skateboarding's Skater of the Year. So it probably won't be considered how they did in Street League or X Games or video parts that they put out on other people's websites or even photos in other magazines. It's pretty much what does Thrasher think about who the best is. I got a question. Should we do a Patreon? We're thinking about upping our game a bit and giving you guys more content. Let us know. All right, let's start off strong. Rob Pace. Our friend Mac from the shop, he bet all of his student loans on Rob Pace. Coming off last year where Rob Pace had the Slam Skater of the Year award, which is an Australian magazine, he came out swinging this year with an OJ Wheels part, an America part, and of course last part in the Santa Cruz video.
Just called Fuck 'em if you want to say it.
Is it actually called that?
Yeah.
Stupid name. He had a Thrasher cover that came out from his Santa Cruz part, but that came out back in September 2022. So we're not sure if they'll consider it. And the American OJ's part, although very good, were on other YouTube channels. So again, it could potentially hurt him. Either way, Rob Pace had a crazy year. He got put on the map. Like we weren't really sure who he was before this. But for my bank account's sake, I downvote Rob Pace because I want Mac to lose. Next on the list is Cyrus Bennett. He's had a pretty crazy year. I'll preface this. One of the hardest things is you might have the sexiest style on skateboarding, but it doesn't mean you can win because the spirit of Phelps only cares about bombing hills.
He's not very hell ride.
His footage this year was more of a slow drip. He had tricks in 3 different limousine videos, a full part in Huff Forever, and some of the best clips in Johnny's vid. One thing we do appreciate about this sexy man is that he released footage all year long. He didn't just front load it to the end of the year and try to win. So for that, we'll give him a smooch on the lips. But that might be all he's winning this year. Next up is Mason Silva. This is the big handrail one, not Miles Silva's, the super tracksuit guy. He had his Take a Lap part, a solo part on Thrasher, his Huff Forever part, and recently a Spitfire Wheels video with Louis, Jake, and Curran. Next up, we have England's finest boy, Tom Knox. He let out a lot of footage this year. Talking ollies, big spins. He tries to trick you with his switchback 50s, but he starts on flat ledges and then he bombs a little ledge hill. But in actuality, he dropped a Dickies part on Thrasher. He had an Atlantic Drift part that was on Thrasher. He dropped a new pro shoe, the 600 with New Balance. And he just dropped another Atlantic Drift part this week called Reoccurring Dream. And all these parts, except for the New Balance ad, they all dropped on Thrasher. And lastly, he came in with the last Thrasher cover of the year, the December issue, with his hallway ollie. I do gotta give him kudos for that. That seems pretty scary. Next on the list, Australia's Jacko Grady. He had a Thrasher cover in August of a pretty big bank-to-bank ollie. He had a really gnarly part in the Nike SB 7 ball video. As well, he had a recent part called Squish with Passport. Next on the list, another guy with super sweet buttery style, Jaeb. Question for you, has there ever been an AM that's won Soty? I don't feel like doing the research on this one, so let us know below if there has been. Braden Hoban almost won it last year, kinda. He was an AM at that point. He let out a full part on his own YouTube account. It was his Jaeb YouTube account. The part was called Not Jaeb. Here's the thing, it's a 5-minute part. That is a hefty part. And people are saying it's throwaway, but don't let that confuse you. It's some of the gnarliest footage we've ever seen. But the reason people are saying it might be throwaway is because he's wearing all different shoes in it. So they say he might be just dumping footage because he can't use it in whatever future video. Also this year, he had a full Thrasher interview where he was fakey flipping Wallenberg. The thing is, in that interview, we saw the photo of the fakey flipping Wallenberg, but we haven't seen the footage yet. So please, Dylan, please, I know you're gonna watch this because we're so sick and so big, and so just put out the footage. Next on the list, a guy named Pedro Delfino. Now I'm gonna put this out there. I put my money on him, but then I didn't realize he only had one part. And everyone else I'm looking on the list, and maybe I should have put my money somewhere else. We didn't see much from him this year, but he did let out one very good video part on Thrasher. Pedro was also on the Canadian Thrasher vacation, and he did a pretty sexy board slide and some other tricks in that video. I shouldn't say sexy, I mean like tough. He was like a tough guy board slide. And it was in our hometown, Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Best city in just the province that we live, like the small area. It's also worth noting that Pedro Delfino probably fits the mold or fits the mag of what Jake Phelps would have been looking for when he was choosing Soty. He doesn't go in a ton of contests, he doesn't sell out for any big brands, he just skates really hard, really fast, bombs crazy hills, and does massive handrails. My guy, John D'Lo. First, he's like a mix of Day1 and Levi Brown. He kind of snuck up on us. He had Adventure Minute part, clips in the Jacuzzi Money vid, he had a Thrasher cold call, and he had his Hours Timeline Chapter 1 on Thrasher. The Hours part was so good. Better many game than anyone else besides Day1, and everything he does looks amazing. He's my favorite skater right now. I don't know if he'll win, but the last Timeline Chapter 1 part launched him into a serious running in my opinion. Here's some other amazing people that we probably think aren't going to win Soty this year, but they definitely need to be mentioned. Griffin Gast let out his bubble part for Lakai and a Spitfire part called Orca Card. It was all filmed in the rain in Seattle. Rowan Zorilla let out a Vans shoe that made a lot of waves. He had multiple clips in the Supreme videos, and he let out a video part called Blurry.
Do you have on Rowan Zorilla's section, and he's handsome?
Yeah, I was gonna make a joke about that.
He's not handsome.
You don't think Rowan's handsome?
He's handsome like the 1970s drug dealers who could fly cocaine in their carry-on were handsome. It sounds like we have different styles
different
in men.
taste in men.
Yeah, I was more of a let me lick Dylan Reeder's chest with no hair on it, and you're more of a like hairy butt cheeks type
This
guy.
dude, like,
and on top of it all, Sam Stewart, who owns the skate shop, loves Rowan Zorilla's look, and he wants a little cuddle from the back on the front of the Titanic. Next up is my doppelganger, my personal crush, my bae, Ryan Sheckler. He let out a part called Lifer, and he had a full documentary on Red Bull called Rolling Away. He had a baby this year. He also kind of had surgery this year on his foot. Honestly, it's gnarly that he's still just throwing down when he could be in chill mode. Those Maranas are crushing it. On this list, Austin Gillette. He put out a Globe shoe this year, which I personally love. Some people have mixed reviews. I think that's cool. He let out a full part with Globe called Know You My Own Way. And then there was this famous beef between Elijah Burrell and Austin Gillette. They apparently squashed it, but then there was a random coincidence where Austin Gillette switched tray flipped the fire hydrant gap, which in Elijah Burrell's last part, he tray flipped. Conspiracy or not? Let us know below. Couple honorable mentions, Jack Olson, who let out a gnarly part with Real. and Nick Matthews, who let out a Venture full part, a Huff full part, and he had the February cover of Thrasher this year. Now there's a Canadian boy, TJ Rogers. Ever heard of him? He's the only one on this list that's been on 2 years in a row. Last year, he was a real contender. He beat cancer and he let out multiple parts. This year, he's not slowing down. His pants have gotten even bigger. He let out a Keep Smiling part with Red Bull, and he had his S Avant part. And that wasn't even all of it. He still had time to come on Thrasher's Canadian vacation, where he had lots of good footy on different crusty Canadian spots. Remember, the ground freezes, so the ground gets all messed up here. One of the most amazing tricks in the video, he switched 180 to small mountain, like 3 stories high, 47 stairs. It was crazy. Now all these people are really cool. We're talking about the real final 3, the real contenders that we think can KO each other.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
First of the final 3, the heavyweight contenders, Miles Silvas. That's the Adidas tracksuit guy. He's cooler than all of you guys watching this video. But he also had the Thrasher cover in November. It was a front crook in San Fran, which is really gnarly, and it's in the backyard of Thrasher, which probably gets him bonus points. He didn't put out any footage all year, but yesterday morning, his City to City part dropped on Thrasher, and holy smokes, guys, it's nuts. Just 8 straight minutes of absolute bangers. He starts the part with the sweat rag in his hand for an entire line. Only the most gangster do that. So much switch hammers, switch backside 50, switch front blunts, switch front crooks, all on huge handrails and hubbas. We think this part is going to have a huge impact on the Soty decision for 2023. He ended the part with 2 NBDs on the rail to heel spot in SF, front crook and flip front board. I don't know how you win Skater of the Year when you hold all your footage to the last 20 days, but that's how they do it. Again, Thrasher Skate of the Year, not skateboarding's winningest. John Shanahan came out swinging this year, dropped 2 parts. Early this year, he dropped a DC part, and more recently, he dropped a part with DGK. And on top of all that, he looked like he just back to futured himself from 1992.
Marty, you've got to come back with me. Where? Back to the future.
They don't even make the clothes he's wearing anymore. He had to go on eBay. His DC part was called Double Up, and his DGK part was called Double Down. He also had the September Thrasher cover at Muni. He's definitely a front runner for a lot of people right now. And last but not least, Yuto Horigome. We all know a couple years ago, Yuto got robbed by Tyshawn. Remember that part he did nollie, what was it, the trick?
Nollie 2-7.
Did he do board or backlit?
He did like nollie cab.
So board's at the front and he goes nollie.
He does a nollie
540?
nollie caballero, but then lands in like a front side board.
But 450 or 270?
270.
This was the year where he did nollie full cab onto Hollywood High.
Bruh.
With nollie cab, hey.
What did I say?
You said nollie cab.
Okay. This is the year where he did nollie 360 onto Hollywood High 16 with a face mask on.
You also called it a nollie 360, which is we're gonna get roast.
Okay. This was the year when he did nollie 270 front board or something, we can't figure out what it's called, onto Hollywood High 16, or some might call it a nollie cab slide. And he also NASCAR'd himself with Thrasher head-to-toe gear in every trick in that part. And he won the Olympics. But winning the Olympics might have actually hurt him. This was the last year that Jake awarded the award, and he wasn't about to give it to someone who won the Olympics. But 2023, he started the year off with a Nike SB Dunk colorway, and to go along with it, his Yuto in Tokyo part. This part was crazy to watch because it was all spots we've never seen before, and he had a crazy NBD ender, where he did nollie 270 heel flip board slide. And I had heard that every one of these tricks he had to wake up at dawn because he was so popular and famous in Tokyo that he had to get to the spots before people could recognize who he was. So imagine doing all these tricks at 6 and 7 a.m. This part had almost 2 million views in a few months. He recently had clips in a homie video called 9 to 5, which is a local homie video out of LA. It's really, really good too. It's a must watch. He had clips in the April Turbo Green video, which was for April's colorway of a dunk. And there's rumors that he has one more part coming out before the end of the year. All of it filmed on a street league course. Let's go! That's our list. Those are our top 3. If you want to hate on someone, Mac voted for Rob Pace. Sam voted for Yuto. I got Pedro Delfino. And who do you got?
I got
TJ Green, then second year in a row.
Miles Silva.
No, you got TJ Green.
No, I'm
yeah.
not doing no, dude, I'm not.
And,
No.
and Joel, the editor, got TJ Rogers for a second year in a row.
No, I'm doing Miles Silva.
Okay, it was Miles Silva, the track pants one. He's got money on that guy. Here's the thing. Who do you guys got money on? Start betting with your friends using your credit cards. Let us know below. Keep us in the loop. Let us in on your inner deepest thoughts. Who do you think will win and who do you want to win? Could be two different people. Comment below. Let us know your thoughts. I'm Levi. This is Shred Shop. Connect you to skateboarding, and you just watched our Soty 2023 weigh-in. Stay tuned for the spiciest of them all weeks. Oh, we got a spicy one. I'm not kidding. It's battery acid down your throat. It's from my guy, Jacob Narvaez 9890. Sorry, I said your last name wrong. This was on our Thrasher 14 Things video. He said, I gotta disagree with you. Soty used to be the most prestige award you could win. But now after what they did to Nyjah Huston last year, I don't anyone really thinks that highly of it anymore. Because it's not about the best video part that came out that year. It's too political now. What do you guys think? Comment below.